Welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen, across America and around the world. This is Alan Stang. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we are presently seeing across America an exhilarating, electrifying revival of the powers of the states. The states have had these powers all along. They have allowed them to rust from non-use. They have defaulted. They have put those powers down. They have allowed the federal government to usurp power to the point at which it is almost true to say that the states have become mere geographical designations, mere lines on a map, rather than the powerful independent entities that created the federal government in the first place. And so we've got this thrilling development in the country today in which the states are now waking up out of a long sleep, out of a long Rip Van Winkle type sleep. They are beginning to pick up their powers, beginning to assert themselves. You see this in so many ways across the country. Now, one of the crucially important elements in all of this is the role of the sheriff, the role of the county sheriff. Now, for most people, the sheriff is somebody you see in an old Western movie. Things fall apart, they go wrong, everything is all mixed up. The railroad guys are in there, or the big cattle barons are doing bad things, are victimizing the people. And finally, the sheriff rides in alone, and he resolves the problem. He locks up the bad guy, the problem is over, and he probably gets the girl in the end, too. But that is the problem. I don't think I'm exaggerating. For most people, that would be the conception of the sheriff. But the sheriff in our system is a crucially important figure. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that there's nobody more important in our local system of government than the sheriff. And that is why I've asked Sheriff Richard Mack to be with us this morning. Sheriff Mack, Richard Mack, for 8 years was sheriff of Graham County, Arizona. He is a lifelong professional lawman. For 11 years, for example, he was with the Provo, Utah Police Department. He served in the police on the police force in Los Angeles. Again, he then later on ran for sheriff in Graham County, Arizona, was reelected, served 8 years. He has written about his work, written about the importance of the sheriff in our system, and we're honored here this morning to have Sheriff Mack with us as our guest, and he's going to explain what the sheriff does in our system. Let's take a quick break. We'll do some business. We'll come right back with Sheriff Richard Mack. Stay with us for much more. Sheriff Richard Mack, in a booklet that you recently wrote, you say that the sheriff indeed has the authority, the power, and the duty to end venal and oppressive government. Could you explain, could you amplify on that statement from your recent booklet, Sheriff Richard Mack?
I sure could. The title of the booklet is The County Sheriff, America's Last Hope. And Alan, thank you for having me on. I've listened to you on the radio since I was a kid. And so I guess you started when you were very young. But yes, this is true, and the sheriff is the ultimate authority in his county. He is the only elected police official anywhere in the country. Alaska, Connecticut did away with the sheriff's office. Alaska doesn't have sheriffs, and Hawaii doesn't have sheriffs, but everybody else has sheriffs who are elected by, for, and of the people, And one of the main reasons that he is the ultimate authority is because he's not a bureaucrat. He answers directly to the power source, the people. And then, pursuant to my Supreme Court decision when I sued the Clinton administration to stop the Brady Bill, we won. A handful of sheriffs won a case against the Clinton administration to stop federal incursions and associated with the Brady Bill. But it was forever. I mean, and this was probably, and you talked very articulately about the power of the states to right now exercise their sovereignty. And you're right. The states have always been sovereign, but they've been going along and sliding down towards this socialistic agenda in Washington, D.C., because they haven't put up a fight, and they've been going along so they continue to get money and whatnot that benefits from Washington, D.C., and to also to have political backslapping with their parties. And so they're required to go along because that's what the party requires.
Now, Sheriff Richard Mack, because the powers of the states and the powers of the sheriffs have been diluted so much by default over so many years, I think we need you to educate us a lot more about what this means. And I count myself among the people who need education in this area. When you say, Sheriff Richard Mack, that the sheriff has the ultimate power in the county, what does that mean exactly? Does that mean that if the governor, well, let's say, for example, you're the sheriff of Graham County in Arizona,
right,
and now here comes the governor,
and
the governor says, Richard, here's what I want you to do. How does that work? When you say you're the ultimate power, what does that mean?
Well, if the governor tells me what to do, first of all, after I stop laughing at the governor, I'll say, Governor, if you want to negotiate or suggest anything, that's fine, but you're not my boss. The people are my boss. And just like you have your assignment, I have my assignment. The governor cannot tell your sheriff what to do. The legislature cannot tell your sheriff what to do. They can't hire him. They can't fire him. The federal government, the President of the United States, cannot tell your sheriff what to do. And that's what this case decided for us.
So in other words, in your county, when you are sheriff, you're sheriff of Graham County, or you were.
Yes, I was.
We know you were. All right, so when you were sheriff, and this situation endures, when you are the sheriff in a county, you are the highest of governmental power, governmental authority in that county, not anywhere else.
Let me tell you a scenario that did happen. We had a bridge that got washed out here, and of course the federal government believes they own all the rivers and waterways. And so the county needed to fix the bridge, and they were going to have to dredge the river somewhat. Well, the Army Corps of Engineers came in and said that we were not allowed to touch that river. Well, the county board of supervisors voted unanimously, 3-0, that they were going to fix that river anyway. The Army Corps of Engineers said, if you touch that river, you'll be in violation every day, and each day that you are in violation, we are going to charge you and fine you $50,000 for each day that you're in violation. Well, I went to the Board of Supervisors, who I didn't necessarily get along with all that great, but I told them, this sheriff's office, this sheriff will stand beside you. We will call out all the deputies and form a posse, if need be, to defend your workers and you against the Army Corps of Engineers. Well, guess what? We fixed the bridge, we dredged the river, and we paid not a dime in fines. Not a dime. Nobody was hurt. Nobody was out of line. No, there were no shots fired. And the people got back to work and got back to school by the use of that bridge.